Before tapping, always check the content of the carton to ensure it is complete. It is essential that you read the user information in the carton. Always use a standard detergent to clean the section of pipe that you want to tap before mounting the EWE tapping fittings. Place the connection piece of the ball valve tapping fitting onto the soffit of the PE pipe. Then use the ratchet to screw the bracket tightly to the connection piece with the 4 screws. The auxiliary shutoff of the ball valve tapping fitting must be in the open position. This is the delivery status. Screw the EWE mini tapping device with the left-handed thread in an anti-clockwise direction to the ball valve housing and tighten with the tapping wrench. Screw the EWE flushing piece to the outlet side of the ball valve. This ensures that the tapping chips are rinsed out in a controlled manner during the tapping process. Move the ball valve in the flushing piece to open. The flushing piece has a GK coupling which allows hoses to be connected very quickly. Mount the flushing hose with the GK coupling to the flushing piece. This flushing hose ensures that the tapping chips created during the tapping process are carried away with the water. Now mount the appropriate drill bit to the tapping rod of the EWE mini tapping device. Now unlock the star-shaped lock of the tapping rod using the tapping wrench until the tapping head connects to the soffit. Once in place, lock the star-shaped lock of the tapping rod into position again with the tapping wrench. Attach the lever to the tapping wrench and turn slowly in a clockwise direction. The integrated feed of the mini tapping device leads the tapping bit through the wall of the PE pipe. The end of the tapping process is signalized when it is clearly engaged. After the end of the tapping process, carefully release the star-shaped lock on the feed. Caution is required here because the water pressure will make it shoot upwards. Once the tapping rod has fully emerged upwards to the stopper, affix the lock again with the tapping wrench. Close the flushing piece at the outlet of the housing using the green lever and dismantle the flushing hose. Use the tapping wrench on the square on the side of the ball valve casing to close the integrated auxiliary shutoff. The tapping device is dismantled when turned in a clockwise direction. The section of PE cut out of the wall of the pipe remains in the drill bit of the tapping device. To position the EWE PE sleeve, lock it into the holder of the PE sleeve setting device by turning it gently until you feel it engage. Then draw in the guide rod of the PE sleeve setting device up to the stopper and lock it into position with a star-shaped lock. Screw the PE sleeve setting device with the left-handed thread anti-clockwise to the ball valve housing and tighten with the tapping wrench. Then open the ball valve casing via the auxiliary shutoff. By releasing the star-shaped lock, the guide rod of the PE sleeve setting device is carefully fed against the water pressure onto the soffit of the PE pipe and locked to position again. Attach the lever to the tapping wrench and place onto the square of the PE sleeve setting device. Turn slowly in a clockwise direction to screw the PE sleeve into the borehole. The end of the sleeve setting process is signalized when it is already engaged. After the sleeve setting process, the star-shaped lock on the feed is gently released. Caution is required here because the water pressure will make it shoot upwards. Once the guide rod has completely emerged up to the stopper, affix the lock again with the tapping device wrench. The PE sleeve remains in the borehole until the tapping fittings are affixed. In the next step, Close the auxiliary shutoff in the ball valve housing and dismantle the PE sleeve setting device by turning it clockwise. Then screw in the upper part of the valve, which also has a left-handed thread, into the ball valve housing. Open the auxiliary shutoff to create the building connection. Place the tapping device wrench onto the square of the spindle of the upper part of the ball valve. Turn the square spindle until the operating shutoff is pressed against the conical seat in the housing, thereby sealing the borehole. Remove the flushing valve. Then mount the PE welding socket or any other outlet to the outlet of the ball valve housing. To fit the telescope fitting, remove the sand disc from the socket in the fitting. Place it onto the matching holder on the upper part of the ball valve and twist to lock it into position. Place the connecting square of the telescope fitting onto the square of the valve and lock into position by inserting a stainless steel pin. In the final step, feed the PE socket of the sleeve downwards over the telescope fitting until it clicks into position on the sand disc. You can now open and close the ball valve tapping fitting using the installed fitting.